The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
Thank you, Harry. Hello, everybody. Dave Canyon here. Welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all as we are enjoying 2021, the year 2021, and we are enjoying, hopefully we're enjoying Dumb 3.0, a reboot for the second time, because the original was a boot, and then I had a reboot, and this is 3.0, where we try to trim the fat, which I'm putting on right now, literally on my body, and then literally here on the show by doing all this preamble. But I just want everybody to know, why you're not hearing intro music and why you're not hearing anything that I've done for the first 280 some odd episodes. I had some sort of an epiphany a couple of weeks ago, just before I was going to record a show. I said, you know what? I'm just a little tired of the long intro and sitting here listening. And I said, you know what? If I'm getting annoyed and I'm getting a little bit bored, and I just know that in the podcasting space, intros are passé. Long musical intros are passé. They're good if you're doing a live show and you're waiting for people to check in, like an 8 o'clock show, whatever. And, you just play a song, and then it takes about a minute for the entire country or the world to catch up to you. So they listen to a pleasant tune and all that. But you know what? Dumb 3.0, we're getting more pragmatic-ier than ever before. More pragmaticer, more pragmaticable, whatever. I'm not sure what the tenses are of pragmatic, but more pragmatic, I think, really gets to it. And more truth, more happiness in the search for it all, and more conversation. And in my personal life, definitely more talking and listening, less posting. Absolutely. Doing the best I can. It might not look like that on Facebook, but I've just spent the last 2 days talking to old friends that I haven't spoken to in a year, 2 years. I haven't seen them, and I haven't spoken to them. They just happen to be CODA friends, C-O-D-A, children of deaf adult friends. So we share that commonality, if that's the correct word, of growing up in a deaf household with deaf parents. So we have a special bond. So anyway, it was nice to talk to two different men in my life that I still am holding on to a positive relationship. I could, during those phone calls, start agenda talking, which most of you know I don't do. I don't have an agenda. My agenda is, pragmatism, me being a pragmatic and exploring what that means without getting you guys all sick of the word and sick of me, and figuring out how it plays in my life and all that. So I could have went into agenda. We could have went deep into politics, and then the conversation probably would have went south. And I don't know if you can even say go south anymore, because in this day and age, maybe saying going south is racist or, fascist or sexist or whatever it is, or geographicist, whatever. So maybe I shouldn't say going south. It would have went bad, opposite of good. I mean, I can say that, right? I don't want to say it went wrong, because then somebody would say, oh, that's the opposite of right. And, right means, So anyway, it gets a little complicated, but I'm trying to keep things simple. I'm trimming the fat. No intro. We still do an icebreaker. This is still an icebreaker. I got to just warm up a little bit, warm up my vocal cords. As you can hear today, my voice is not as scratchy as it was previous episodes. I don't know what that was all about, except for the fact that I think for a while there, I was talking to myself at the job in my truck more than ever before. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But maybe because of the last person in my life that I let go, I was replacing talking to him on the phone with talking to myself. Maybe it's my reaction to stress because of my job, because of what's going on in the country, because of what's going on wherever, in my head, really, mostly, because whatever's going on in the country, my pragmatism, whatever's going on in the country, doesn't really affect me. Whoever is my president doesn't affect me. Let me make something clear. When I was doing this podcast and Donald Trump became president, I had started something, maybe immediately, I don't remember exactly. It might have taken me a while because maybe I had an idea. But I had commented that I was going to do a count up. Most people do a count down. I was doing a count up to how many days that Donald Trump would be the president, and it wouldn't affect me because it's always been my contention, I hope I'm using that word right, that the presidency doesn't really affect me. The things that they discuss, that they do, whatever it is that a president does, whether it's Barack Obama or Jimmy Carter or Ford or Nixon or Reagan or whoever, Bush, Clinton, almost Clinton, by the time it gets to Dave Canyon, whatever they do, whatever executive order, in my mind, my simple mind, I'm not a college graduate. I had never studied economics. I never studied poli-sci, short for political science, for those of you who are as dumb as I am. I just happen to know it's poli-sci. And by the way, I could be wrong. I don't know anything about anything. I'm a dum-dum. And I like to think that you are my dum-dums too, which is a term of endearment. I don't know anything. But it's always been my contention that ever since I can remember, and this goes back to my father as well. I can't speak for his father, but seeing what was going on in the Canyon household from the age of 6 or 7, and then, of course, we know Nixon was my first president that I was conscious of. And he did wrong, right? There was something happened, the whole Watergate scandal. And then he ended up, I don't know if he was impeached or they tried to or whatever it was. And then he ended up leaving office. And then, there was the whole Spiro Agnew thing. And I think he was out before Nixon was and whatever. I don't remember all of that. But I just remember listening on the radio, watching Eyewitness News in New York. By the way, for all you New Yorkers, remember Roger Grimsby and Bill Butel and all those guys from Eyewitness News. That was our family's news. It wasn't 4 or 2, Channel 4 or 2. It was, you guessed it, Eyewitness News. So anyway, that's a little New York inside thing. So, whatever the president did, wherever he went, whatever treaty he signed, whatever oil thing, whatever trade thing, whatever immigrant thing, whatever he did not affect my father. And it did not affect me. And it definitely did not affect my relationship with my father. And I know that Dave, that's so wrong. You have no idea about what the president does for you and your family. I'm telling you, I agree with you. I do have no idea. I have no idea. All I know is that my father would work. You have a couple of minutes? Work. Are we done yet? Work. And then when he wasn't working, or actually at the same time he was working, but even when he wasn't working, he'd be neglecting. In other words, that's not a good word because I can't repeat it quickly like work. But we wouldn't have a relationship. So I could care less what the president was doing. I just wanted my father. I wanted a buddy. And he was the one that should have been it, but it wasn't. We're not going to go down that road. I'm just saying it would have been great if it was him. And he wasn't. He was a deaf man. And he did not really we didn't talk. My house was not political. My house was not economic. My house wasn't cultural. It was nothing. My culture was the deaf culture. That's it. Plain and simple. I was there to interpret. I was in service. You might as well put a red vest around me because I was like a service son. That's what I was. I was a service son. That's what I should put down in the title of this show. I was a service son. So, by the way, sometimes I break away from the show to report on something live. You know how children walk in the streets with a balloon wrapped around their finger like a helium balloon, and then they let go of it, and then you go, oh, where does that balloon go? Well, right now, I'm on 787 southbound headed to the New York State Thruway, and there's this balloon, or 2 balloons, helium balloons. Well, what else would they be, Dave? They're not water-filled balloons. And they're flying over the road, up really high in the sky. And I'm just wondering, where did that balloon come from? Where's that kid that let go of that? I'm assuming it's a kid. But, you always wonder, where do those balloons go? Well, it just flew over. It's flying over Albany right now, if anybody is listening. And maybe we could track this balloon. It's headed, I'm headed south, so it must be it's headed east. It's headed east over Albany. It should be in Massachusetts. By the time you hear this, it'll probably be over the Berkshires. Or maybe the wind will take it north, up into the Adirondacks. I have no idea. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. So my house was not political. My house was nothing except I was the service son. You got to go with me. My father said, you got to come with me. You got to interpret. You got to negotiate. You got to do this. You got to do that. So I did that was my household, and I hurt for that because I mean, I was damaged because of that, because I didn't get the vocabulary I should have gotten from a normal hearing, speaking household, and I didn't get knowledge or information. And his father, my grandfather, who either lived upstairs in the apartment building we lived at, or across the street when we finally moved to a different neighborhood. I had two grandfathers. One was an immigrant from World War II, from Poland, and he wasn't much into economics and politics either. He was into running his fruit and vegetable store in Manhattan, on Alphabet City, First Avenue and 14th Street. Weber's Fruits and Vegetables. I had nobody in my life to educate me about anything. I was on my own. My education was learn sign language, learn it quick, and then when you're old enough to ride in the car with Dad, by the way, no car seats, you're going places, and they might be exciting or not, but when we get there, get your fingers ready, because you're going to be interpreting. So understand that, yes, I see things simplistically, and I see things pretty much middle of the road. And ultimately, I could care less. I really could care less. I just want to have a happy life. I want to have joy. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Dave, you're putting your head in the sand. No, I don't care. I've had my head out of the sand, and all I hear for 57 years is blah, 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 blah. He said, she said, they said, we said, Hatfield, McCoy. Ugh. So I did a count up. How many days would Trump be in the presidency before it makes any difference to me? And I sometimes I lose count and whatever, but I had a good count for a while, and then eventually a friend of mine said to me, "Hey Dave, your count up is over." I said, "Really? Why is that?" Because he just lowered your taxes, so you're going to see an increase in your paycheck. And I did a show about that, or a couple of shows. And I said, "Really? Wow, I didn't know that." He says, "Yeah, pay attention to your check." But what happened was, at the same time that President Trump lowered my taxes, as my friend says he did, I to this very day, I don't know if he did. I have no evidence of it. I don't need evidence of it. What happened was, at the same time that supposedly he did that, we got a raise at the job anyway. So I was making more money. So I stopped the count up anyway. But after that raise, to be honest with you, after that raise, I don't know what else he did for me. I mean, was he making the border, blah, 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 more secure with the wall? Yeah, maybe. Was he doing this? Was he doing... Yeah, all indirect is probably my best point. Whatever he was doing, whatever the president does do, is maybe indirectly affects me. But it takes a long time to get from, Washington, D.C., the president's signature, down through all the processes of government by the time it gets to Dave Canyon in New York State in his little town, and it affects me and my job and all that other stuff. Anyway, I'm doing the same thing with Biden. I'm not going to do a count up with Biden or a count down. I don't know how my life is going to change. I'm anticipating certain things like higher gas prices, higher taxes, and maybe some more civil unrest. I don't know. It's not looking good from where I'm sitting, although it is quite nice in this Kia Rio, my 2008 Kia Rio LX that I drive up and down the New York State Thruway during my commute, which is where I do my podcast. Right now, I'm heading home on the New York State Thruway. I also used to call the show the fastest podcast on earth. Right now, I'm doing a comfortable 66 miles an hour. And the weather is, we'll do a little weather report. It's mostly gray, again, freezing, by the way. It's been cold. I think today and tonight and tomorrow it's going to be even colder. And the time is, it's 8:24 in the morning. It is the 27th, I think, or the 28th. You know what? I knew what it was, and somehow I let it go. It doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, it's a good time of the day. It's either the 27th or the 28th. And I'm southbound. Oh, the mileage report. The mileage in my 2008 Kia Rio LX is, drum roll, I don't have a drum roll. I got to get a drum roll. 291,022 miles. Not bad. Still getting 35 miles to the gallon. All right, so we're 14 minutes in. Of course, time for me to say my obligatory statement that I say all the time. So far, not the show I wanted to do. Not the show I wanted to get right to listeners' comments. But you know what? You know how it rolls here at Dumbing It Down with Dave. We hit the button, we talk, and whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth, and we go. Sometimes the icebreaker is 5 minutes. No, it's not. It's never 5 minutes, Dave. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Yeah, sometimes you know how to shut your mouth. Sometimes it's 15 minutes. Yep, that's most likely. And sometimes it's the whole show. Sometimes the whole show is an icebreaker. Dave, your voice sounds like it's starting to crack. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I should take a drink break. No, you don't have time. Just go. Trim the fat and go. Okay. So, there you go. 2021. I'm talking more and listening more, posting less. I would like everybody to follow that lead. Find somebody in your list and call them. See, I've been living the quarantine life before it was cool. Before everybody was doing it, I was already quarantined. Because I work and go home. That's what I do. But Dave, you've done shows where you said you've gone here. You go to the races. You do. Yeah, I do this and that. But as a truck driver for this company, I'm on a 14 to 16 hour work schedule. I don't have a casual life where after 8.5 hours I go home and have a beer, meet my buddies, blah blah blah, work on my car, do my hobby, work. Blah, blah, blah. There's none of that. I'm going home now to go to sleep. Actually, I went to Walmart and did shopping. Spent about $40 some odd in food for the house. Dave, why doesn't your wife do that? Well, she does do that, and I'm doing it today. And I'm not even done yet. I got to go to one more store and get one more thing because that's what my wife wants and that's what I want her to have because she's working hard too. And so sometimes this is a marital couples. It's a couples show. We've done car talk. We've done couples. We've done all different things. Very rarely do we do sports. And anything I do, I bring it to the human side. I try to explore the human behavior, if it's politics or whatever it is. And right now, my human behavior says, I want my wife to come home and be able to make a cup of coffee and have the creamer she wants. And the creamer she wants is not available at Walmart. Somehow, I don't know. It's a special coconut flavored, whatever it is. I don't know, almond or whatever. And it's only available at a particular store. Okay, I think I covered everything. My father, Donald Trump, President Biden, all that good stuff. My concerns for the future, talking to my friends. And I want to thank everybody who's been either commenting in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group or has been commenting here in the Spreaker chat box or, I don't get a lot of Twitter reaction, but I get some. Thanks to Linda from Awesome Insanity Surfers, who, by the way, does provide the Harry voice, non-nominated and non-award-winning show. And the reason why I had Linda create that, because I said it out loud, because I hear so many things go, this is the award-winning show, this is the award-winning car, this is the award-winning. I'm like, really? Where are all these awards? J.P. Morgan or whatever. Oh, listen, who knows what these awards are? And I'm tired of hearing that these things are award-winning. And I've heard some podcasts introduce themselves as award-winning. So, you know what? Maybe this podcast is award-winning. 20, 30, 40 years ago, I got third place in a 5-team summer bowling league in Brooklyn, New York. I have an award, so I'm an award-winning podcaster. Okay? Is that a false claim? It's not a true claim, but it's not a false claim. Okay, let's try to do some listeners' comments. I'm assuming that this is the last show that I did listeners' comments, because the show is called All Caught Up Now. Episode 275, All Caught Up Now. In this special episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave, we insert a new segment we produce once every 4 years called Car Talk. During the Car Talk segment, we discuss Dave's father's cars from 1968 to 1976. And then we resume our regularly scheduled Dumbcast. Eventually, we get on with the business of catching up with listeners' comments. Oh, yeah, by the way, for those of you who are new to the show, this is a Dumbcast. And it's a Dumbcast in a CarCast, and it's a CarCast in a podcast. You are getting 3 casts in one. So you won't get that anywhere else. There's 1.8 million podcasts right now going on in the world. Not live, but, whenever they do them. 1,800,000. That's up from 750,000 podcasts when I started 5 years ago. We're almost at my 5-year anniversary, which I don't think we'll be celebrating. If I remember, I'll mention it. So anyway, there you go. You won't be hearing any of that in other podcasts. All right, let's go to listeners' comments for All Caught Up Now. We'll start from the first person who commented, and then we'll try to go as far as we can before my 30 minutes are up. Linda Irwin wrote, about a month ago, this was how long ago we're behind. If we are behind, I don't even know how far. I just took a show. I just guessed. Linda Irwin wrote, preparing for the big snow to be measured in feet after it is done over a week from now. So Linda lives in McCall, Idaho, from Awesome Insanity Surfers, and she often has her house buried in snow in the winter, and she's surrounded by fire in the summer. But when it's not being buried in snow and it's not being burnt down, surrounded by fire, because you know how dry it gets out there, it's really a beautiful place. You should go out there and see it sometime. Go see it before it's either drowned in melted snow, water, or charred from burning fires. Okay. Linda Irwin also wrote, if you were a small child back in the day, you sat between two adults in the front seat, and if an accident seems to be possible, like when the brakes are being slammed on, the non-driving adult would put their arms across in front of you to keep you from flying through the windshield, since no seatbelts were worn. Yep, I remember that. Absolutely. Also, they would put their hand out and slap you in the face for being fresh. Linda Irwin also wrote, I'm just saying from experience. Linda Irwin also wrote, vinegary water sounds horrible to me. I drank coffee on our drink break. Yeah, because I mentioned that I drink apple cider vinegar with my water. It's supposed to be good for you. All right, what else? Linda Irwin wrote, a Fjord, F-J-O-R-D, is a brand of truck they drive in Scandinavia. LOL. Actually, she put a question mark. A Fjord is a brand of truck they drive in Scandinavia? LOL. Very funny, Linda. A Fjord. Bobby Massey wrote, and Bobby, if you're listening, I hope all is well. Bobby Massey wrote, Linda, the new Scandinavian Fjord lineup. Ha ha ha. Everybody's doing ha ha ha, which is good. The only car commercials where the women have thicker facial hair than a Brooklyn hipster. Bobby with the jokes. Bobby Massey wrote, funny stuff. He writes funny stuff. Bobby Massey also wrote, another great show. Everyone be safe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. And Happy New Year. Good job, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby and Linda, for commenting on episode 275, All Caught Up Now. Let me see, about 22 minutes. Oh, good. So we got some time. Wow. I like that. Did I get spammed? Episode 276. Did I get spammed? In this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave, number 276, Dave tells a true story of a former friend, his former friend's brother, and his former friend's father. And if my former friend is listening, he's probably going, wait a minute, I'm your former friend? When did that happen? It's not official. And I shouldn't say things like that. But I get angry, and this is how I act out. All right. I think it's called passive aggressiveness. All right. That's what my therapist says. But I don't pay her anymore, so she doesn't say it anymore. Oh, okay. What is it that the three of them do that is so inappropriate that Dave feels compelled to share it with you? Why are the male relationships in Dave's life all so sour? Is it Dave or most men's inability to cope with their feelings? Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that. All right. Did I get spammed? Number 276. Not a lot of comments. Linda comes through with the comments. Linda Irwin wrote about a month ago, we are getting our annual mid-December snow dump. And Linda wrote that because I always do the weather report. So, wow, it's an annual event, the mid-December snow dump. Linda Irwin also wrote, this might be why my social life is online. When it was in real life, people wanted me to do stuff that I was either not interested in or was going to energetically deplete me. Love the word deplete. They would get upset if I did not want to participate in their activities. Yep, I hear you, Linda. I hear you. Yeah, depleters. Linda Irwin also wrote, I cut ties with people who treat me like your experience with the anniversary. And what she's referring to is I made a special effort to be standing in a certain spot in a restaurant for my friend's or former friend's parents' anniversary. And then the father walked in, and my friend, I did a show on it. My friend said, hey, look, Dad, it's Dave Canyon. And the father went, ugh. He looked at me like, ugh, why are you here? I was like, wow, I'll never do that again. right. And Linda Irwin also wrote, that video text sounds like spam. So I had somebody, I don't know if that's what she meant to write, but somebody sent me, the video text. Somebody sent me a text that said my last name. A text, not a Facebook message, not an Instagram, not an email, right to my phone, cell phone. Took advantage of the fact they had my cell phone number and sent me a text that said Canyon in capital letters. By the way, misspelled it. Right there, you're out. You know me? You have my cell phone number? You misspelled my last name? Out. And then he gave me a link to his YouTube channel, his super hilarious comedy improv channel, comedy, whatever, YouTube channel, which I never checked out. So I blocked him. I said, no, that's disrespectful. You took advantage. You spammed me. Out. All right, so that's it. That's 276. How much more time I got? Oh, we still got time. How am I doing this today? Don't you think it's funny? Sometimes time seems to go by real fast and sometimes it goes real slow. How's it going for you today? Is my show boring? Is it going too slow? Hey, by the way, so speaking of which, here's the next show, number 277, I think it's called. Hey, Dad, look, it's Dave Canyon. All right, let's do this. Oh, there's a very short description. In this episode, Dave discusses several important and non-important topics, as well as reading some listeners' comments. All right, here you go. Let's see how many comments we get for, hey, Dad, look, it's Dave Canyon. All right, I wrote, thank you so much for listening and engaging. And then Linda Irwin came in with, happy holidays from all of us at Awesome Insanity Surfers and Harry, Emma, Hazel, David, and Zira. All AIs of Linda's. AI acquaintances and friends of Linda's. Maybe even relatives, I'm not really sure. Linda Irwin also wrote, you can fade out by sliding the volume on the slider on the track. Anyway, I had a problem with a certain sound thing, but I don't have that slider she's talking about. That's a whole podcasting thing. Probably shouldn't have read that comment. All right, Linda Irwin also wrote, both Pfizer and Moderna have PEG, which is Miralax, as an ingredient in the vaccine. I was talking about some of the dangers of the vaccine, I think. Linda Irwin also wrote, our back door sits higher than our front door. So we got out that way and cleared the snow from the outside to open the front door. Yeah, because I was talking about how she sent me a picture once with a house being buried. Linda Irwin also wrote, the vaccine has roughly 95% preventative properties. But if you are one of the 5% that gets it anyway, it makes the symptoms less severe. And that's it. Those are the 6 comments from, hey, look, Dad, it's Dave Canyon. All right, how much time I got left? I keep on asking that. 27:48. Yeah, I think we're going to stop right there. Let me just check to see what would have been the next episode. The next episode would have been Merry Christmas, ? Happy Holidays, ? How many comments do we have? 9. Too many. I don't want to go over. I don't want to take a chance. It's bad if I go over. Okay. And I used to have a sound effect that said that, but I don't have it posted right now. So we'll just know that it's bad if I go over. What's coming up in the next couple of episodes? Well, a lot of stuff. More listeners' comments and some political talk. I'm going to mix it up the best I can. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Don't forget to comment here. I love when you engage. When you engage, it's really great. It really helps the show. It helps the listeners' comments. And the more you engage, the quicker I'll get to those comments. So we have a lot to talk about. You all have different points of view. And I love the fact that by the way, I think people think that this show is a right-wing, because I know somebody does, that, I tend to lean more towards the right. Let me just explain something to you. Not just to that person, but to everybody. I really don't think about that when I'm talking. I'm not really conscious of that. I'm just speaking my truth. And my truth might sound like that. But that doesn't mean that this is a conservative show, or Republican show, or right-wing show. It's a show about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And if you contribute, then you might pull the show a little bit towards the opposite end. You gotta take a chance, and you're safe here. Your comments are safe here. I'll have your back. Not to worry.
If you are enjoying these shows, please like and subscribe. Also, share them with your social media. Feel free to comment in the Spreaker chat box or call the dumb line at 347-746-3862. Please keep your messages to 60 seconds or less and keep them clean, no profanity. Keep listening and engage. Do it because I ask you to. This is the Raven out.